Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Down in the valleys, whoa, stay focused. There is a place I want to go. The name of the place ringing in my ear. Atlanta, 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 Atlanta is the land of the purple and gold. Oh, the land of the purple and gold. Better get there.
Atlanta, Atlanta, the land of the purple and gold. Welcome to episode 752 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, radio show and podcast, a show that covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small. From the NEIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. In short, we just call it HBCU sports pedagogy. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Washington Charles Bishop, as well as A.D. Drew behind the boards. I'm going to give us some updates on the mid-major level. We are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to KSWA's 12:30 a.m. studios, as we traditionally do on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, with Texas Radio Hall of Famer, multi-Hall of Famer, Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. You know, I started to start things out, but I couldn't talk. I had a cigar in my mouth. And I also had a bottle of champagne. But, you know, Mike decided to create mimosas this morning. And so he's drinking already. That doesn't even matter in terms of what he drank last night. But 1876, as they say. I want to say a big shout out, congratulations to Coach Jackson, the players, assistant coaches. Was so glad that I got a chance to be at the Western with them as they were preparing that morning, and they were able to get it done on the field as they win the 2025 SWAC Championship game, 23-21. Today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab is sponsored by THD Agency and 1876 Sports and Culture, 1876 Athletic Foundation. THD Agency is a company that provides sporting education, consulting, and data analytics. These organizations abound other organizations that were those that put in a lot of work to make sure that today came to fruition. It's been a while, but it's our time. I want to shout out for all those that are saying congratulations, and shout out to all the PV fans out there that have supported this show, all the HBCU fans, SWAC fans. Special shout out to the Jackson State fans that reached out and said congratulations. I appreciate those that have that high level of sporting recognition. With that being said, let's bring the other folks on the show. Without further ado, let's get to our talk. I will say this as we bring them on. Traditional Mike, I did save a shot, Mike. I did save a shot. I understand how you do things, and I didn't want to disappoint you, sir. I did save a shot. Thank you, Charles, for the cigar. Your hospitality in Jackson, along with the other Jackson folks, never lets me down. Jackson owes me nothing in terms of what they did. And this is after getting there, quote unquote, a little late. Wanted to do Thursday, but we had a thing called graduation. And as the dean of the college education, it's my responsibility to make sure I celebrate those graduating individuals, undergraduate, graduate, masters, and doctoral program. And part of that is being on where we call the stage. So congratulations to all those graduates of Texas Southern University and really across the HBCU landscape that will be graduating this last week and this next week for a lot of them, including Prairie, which will make that interesting for those getting to Atlanta. Oh, the purple let go. Boy, I don't even sing. I can sing now, but that's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna go with you, Mike's champion. How are you feeling today? Boy, you sure got a lot of purple gold on.
Man, I'm good. I got 2 cups. Can you guess which one's coffee? Atlanta. I can't even tell. My voice is gone. The land of the purple and gold. It was so good to hear them on the field singing that last night. Of course, a lot of tears shed with alumni and man, I mean, it was an emotional moment, at least for Prairie alumni. There were folks hugging, whatever somebody you may not even know. We were on the field just hugging each other. So it was a great experience. But on the real, came back from a long way from Brazil on a business trip, and man, Jackson owes me nothing as well. They don't owe me nothing as well. So thanks, Charles, for CB, for everything and all that you do. But it was just a fantastic moment. So shared by all. And as we were leaving, what I'd like is we were in the lobby and we still had Jackson State folks down there. You know what y'all did wrong, right? You know what you got to do next week, right? So there was no love lost. They realized, all right, we lost this one, but now y'all got to represent the SWAC. So I thought that was an iconic moment. There was a bunch of Jackson State people in the lobby saying, you know what y'all got to do next week. So that was my big moment of the evening.
That was pretty cool. I want to take time, personal privilege. I did want to shout out specifically Travis Jerome, Assistant Athletic Director, Communications over there at Jackson State University. We had the opportunity to do SWAC TV. He made sure that we had space up in the Veterans Memorial Stadium, which can be a challenge at times, but it worked out. And it was because he made that extra step. I also want to say thank you to Andrew Roberts, as I made requests for the 1876 Sports and Culture. He fully engaged and understood what was going on, and he approved those. So it allowed a lot of folks that have put in time and energy that may not be as recognized as we are on this show in terms of what we do moving forward. But because of the dedication that we put in, they were quickly approved and understood that they were serious about the work they do. So I wanted to make sure I shouted out them because it gave them a chance to see the championship game, which obviously included their team, from a level that they will never forget in terms of being on the field, getting the coin toss, and they helped make sure that we had additional pictures. So we'll try to get some of that out today on the social media platforms and even on the show. If not, we'll certainly have it for you throughout this week, Tuesday, before we do the next chat. So, Drew, if you look for that, if you would, Charles, I know you got some post-game interview. Will you send that to Drew so see if we can get that in before the end of the show? But with that being said, let me go to Charles. Give your thoughts. And again, I want to say for somebody that's a deep fan of Jackson State, but a deeper fan of the SWAC, which now includes the time and energy spent at Texas Southern University and alumni there. Although not alumni of Prairie View, we have what we call Officer Prairie View, and he's been indoctrinated that the appropriate way. He's non-hazing organization.
He got AIDS. Yes, he did. You can't say it. Yeah,
you can't say that in public, Mike.
He got blessed.
Big Mike.
He got blessed.
Big Mike, we're streaming live to a lot of people.
They know what that they know. He got blessed. How about that?
I thank you. Just yes, please. We don't want to get a call from Nash. This is not the time. And shout out for Southern University Alphas who've been cleared, and they're back on the yard. I was excited to hear that, troubling when they came out, particularly.
Yeah.
I want to do that. So, with that being said, Charles, what are your thoughts? And thank you for your gratitude. Great.
Sure. Let me start first and foremost. Congratulations to Prairie View. The destination is Atlanta, but the stop on the destination to Atlanta is the SWAC Championship, and it's always very special to win that SWAC Championship, to hoist that trophy. And Mike, you alluded to it, the tears of joy of the fans, lining the field, just wanting to be a part of it. I've been a part of that experience. And when you get that SWAC championship, it means something still. You gotta, the end goal is, of course, the Celebration Bowl, but to get that first trophy, that means a lot. And it doesn't matter whenever these SWAC championships come up, just the tears, of the team, of the coaches, of the staff, of the fans, the synergy of it all, of the band. It means a lot. I had a player I didn't know. He just ran and he just hugged me. He was just crying. He didn't have, it was very special, to see that, the history of it all. First time that we've had an opposing team win, in the SWAC championship game. That's huge. I'm trying to find out history now as to when was the last time Prairie View won in Jackson, because at a minimum, it's about 40 years. So I've reached out to try to find out that information, but can't say enough. To Coach Jermaine Jackson, congratulations. They went out and they won the football game. Period. They won the football game. They went out there and they did things they had to do. It's been quite some time since I've said a team played more physical than Jackson State, and I give that credit to Prairie View. They played more physical than Jackson State on yesterday. So kudos to them. You can't say enough. You tip your hat to the work that they put in. They went out there and they got it done. And to the victory go to sport.
Appreciate you, Charles. I'm just, cigar.
No doubt.
Celebrating because Charles did that so well. It made me want to go back and pull out my cigar and just realize that, hey, we won the SWAC championship.
Yeah.
A.D. Drew, get your thoughts, and I know you got a two-part. You can obviously talk about the championship game, and you were there for the playoffs, so you can spin off a little bit of that too. So whatever direction you want to go at this time, it's on you.
I'm gonna save the D2 playoff game because that was a exciting but disappointing game. Obviously disappointed because Albany State did go down in defeat. First of all, Mike, Doc, G Boom, former Mayor David Allen of Prairie View, and everybody else out there. This is for y'all. Number one. Number two.
Thank you.
For those in the Houston and Dallas areas, there are flights available to Atlanta right now, today, for starting around $300 round trip. Shout out to Latanya Thurston. The ticket link is already on the Prairie View A&M website. Go get your tickets, plan your flight, and get there. Now, for the rest of the SWAC, okay, you didn't get there, the other 11 teams. But now your job is to support the conference. We have a representative for the SWAC. Get to the Black College Super Bowl in Atlanta on Saturday and support your conference. So want to make sure I get those things out there, Dr. Cavil. Also very impressed with the crowd on yesterday. I was a little low. I sold y'all a little bit short. I said about 28, 27, 28K was what I was expected. 32, lost that bet. So shout out to those. Now we need to see that same purple and gold contingent in the bins on Saturday.
Yes.
They were right after the game. I saw a lot of folks on their phone.
Yep.
Making reservations.
Yep.
Hotel rooms are still under $150.
I also wanted to shout out that you can go to the Cricket Celebration Bowl and you can see the hotel with the rates that are really good rates.
You get rooms under $150 right now still.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure they saw that. So, but it was funny. Back at the hotels, you can see folks. It was like trying to cheer, and people like, hold on, they on their phone. What you doing? I'm trying to
we even had some of the staff from the president. I had the honor to have the president buy my wife and I a drink last night, and they had staff trying to set up hotel room rates and get that communication out. So much to your point, AD. You know, if your team didn't make it, yes, now it's time to support the SWAC. And shout out to Prairie View staff for getting that information out. I met a Jackson guy. I had to drop my wife at 4:30 a.m. this morning at the airport. Jackson State guy said, "You know what? I'm gonna go."
Yeah.
I was like, I appreciate you, brother. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go, man. I said I wasn't gonna go, but I'm gonna go.
He literally just hit the guy right there. He looked over and he was like, I'm gonna go.
And let me not be conference centric. BAC. Just because you South Carolina State is not your team.
That's right.
You know, we still need to BAC there too now. You know, don't BAC people. Don't let these SWAC folk outdo y'all. Don't let all these SWAC folks show up and outdo y'all. And then we talking about the BAC don't support their teams. Look, y'all already got one arm tied behind your back because you only got 6 teams in the BAC, 8 if you count the 2 basketball playing institutions. We need y'all there too. But you know, BAC, show up, show out. We show them that y'all still about something.
Yep, and the HBCU culture, the CIAA, SIAC playoffs are now officially, unfortunately, over.
Morehouse, Clark, Atlanta, you have no excuse.
Yep. Yeah, and usually we see that, but let's continue to see what that looks like. With that being said, let's take our first break, come back on the other side. Let's break down the top 7. Obviously, that will go pretty fast. And then we'll get in some discussion for the ledge as well as, more importantly, superlatives. What are the Big Ben Cavil superlatives for this week? We'll be right back on the other side. Good job, Emmett. Way to get the information out there. Appreciate you.
Yep.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Let's get into our next segment where we break down what transpired this past weekend at the major level in terms of the scores. Obviously, it was one big game, and we also had a playoff game at the mid-major level, so we'll include all that in this discussion. We will go over the Big Ben. That's Ben L. Cavil Senior Big Ben Award. We will give you out helmet stickers in terms of those superlative players that got it done this past weekend. When you talk about that, Big Ben played in the SWAC in 1925. For after it was founded in 1920, you're talking about 100 years ago this year. Happy to give shout out to the Wiley College, Big Ben All-American and conference champion, 4 to 5 years getting it done back in the day with the Wildcat 11. With that being said, I guess it'll be likely that a Prairie View guy will win this year championship. But there are a couple of other superlative players that will be on the finals list. So we'll see what that looks like.
Well, that really quick. Prairie View last beat Jackson, stayed in Jackson in 2016, actually.
Yeah, 16. Before that, I think he went back to Florida. That was a little blip where Jackson State had kind of fell down there.
Fell off the edge, too.
Yeah.
He fell off the ledge. He just went there. It was rough. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this week's games. Let's start with that mid-major game as we move into that is week 13 for mid-major. That is the Newberry Wolves. Albany State was playing really well. I think they were up 21-3, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
But Newberry with the furious comeback and ultimately gets the victory to move on, 31-24. So the Wolves improved to 12-1, 8-1, and the Golden Rams fall to 12-2, 8-0 in terms of what they did this season. While this is disappointing, obviously, quarterback did not play. Still looking to see what was behind that. I think there might have been a slight injury he had in the previous game. I believe he was on crutches. When I saw on the sidelines and heard some of the talk, obviously I was occupied in a lot of ways with the SWAC championship game. So just wanted to give you a little update in terms of what that looks like. But a tremendous season to the Golden Rams. Let's go back to that. Last week, we, with the victory over Benedict, a de facto HBCU mid-major division national champion in the playoffs, Golden Rams came out the national champion. We need to see if we can get to Quinn Gray maybe on Tuesday and give him a chance to celebrate his team and his coaches in regards to the honor for what they did in the playoffs, winning 2 games, as well as earning the 2025 Dr. Cavill's HBCU Mid-Major Division National Championship. And they actually, to their credit, this year, they got it done on the field in terms of that matchup with the number 2 team, Benedict, as they were traveling through the playoffs. Let's move into the major division. Game of the week. It was for a championship. It was the 2025 SWAC Championship game. It is week 14 at the major division level. We have 1 game left, 2 teams left now. Number 4 at the time, Prairie and the Panthers defeat Jackson State 23-21. That was, as you know, SWAC Championship game since 2021, since they brought it back. Really, 2018, I should say that, including the expansion years. The team with the best record or that earns the tiebreakers, oftentimes it becomes in terms of the rankings. Jackson State was ranked nationally number 12, although they had a tie record with 7-1 with Prairie View. They had the right and opportunity, earned that to host the championship game. So Prairie View had to do what has not been done since the conference game moved to that. Also, they X'd out the fact that they finally put the West back on top, as the Eastern Division has dominated, particularly since the expansion years. And so they win in fine fashion, 23-21. As they've done several times this year, they were able to get a lead and close it out offensively, getting first downs, which Charles alluded to as something that is unique to this team, but also something that hasn't normally happened to Jackson State in terms of this recent run they had. That's 4 championship game appearances in 5 years, back-to-back years for T.C. Taylor. Shout out to Jackson State, which was a worthy championship host in terms of what they got there. I also want to give acknowledgments to Ashley Robinson for building that juggernaut and rebuilding it in terms of what he's able to do. But shout outs go to Coach Jackson and his team of coaches. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Christopher Williams, one of the first in the HBCU field in terms of the GM title. So a lot of credit goes to him working hand in hand in terms of with DC, Coach Jackson, in terms of getting the players in place to get it done. So they win that game, and that means everybody else was open this week. In terms of South Carolina State, the other team's seasons are complete. So let's give you all a chance to talk about it. Going you, A.D. Drew, first. Specifically in that game, any additional thoughts that you want to talk about, or your superlative in terms of your Big Ben helmet sticker?
A couple things I want to mention, and I know you guys know this, but I just want to point this out to the masses. You already mentioned that this is the first time that a road team has won in the on-campus championship era. First time that a Western Division team has won since Grambling in 2016. And just to put that in perspective, that was Celebration Bowl 2, everybody.
Yeah.
That was Celebration Bowl 2. And if y'all want to say Alcorn, if y'all remember, Alcorn was in the East at that point in time. I just need everybody to remember that. They said, I heard this. It said this is the first championship for Prairie View since like 1960 something. I was like 63, 65. Because somebody.
No, they won in 2009 with KJ.
In 2009, they won the SWAC championship.
Okay, I was trying to see what
that was in Birmingham. I was at
Alabama
that one.
Alabama A&M.
I'm glad you guys clarified that.
In the 60s.
All right, so because I was gonna say, God dog, my mama was in high school then. If that was the case. Now
the question right there, I know you want to finish, is maybe for the table, and you can think about it. Black college national champion. When was the last time? Prairie View? That was the question I thought you were going to.
Is that the one that was the 60s that they were mentioning then?
That was the one I was pondering in my mind. I wanted to do some
Well,
research.
it was the Pittsburgh Courier, but they did win a Black College Championship in 2009. There were some splits during the time. It wasn't a consensus. Like
Okay.
1960.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Y'all getting it out there. Y'all digging in the books, y'all. They gotta dig it in the books.
Yeah.
Going over to
the media folks. That's how we are. Oftentimes, sorry to interrupt you again, but I wanted to give a chance for folks to get behind the veil. So when we're in our media press rooms or in the press box around, and we start to see things going away, or as soon as things go zero, if it's a close game like was, you start having folks looking in their thesaurus, their encyclopedia, many of those Black College encyclopedia of folks that have been around for a while, and you start asking them, and they verify and look. And those are the kind of questions as you start to write up or prepare for your shows that you want to give that historical context. So these are the kind of discussions that we have behind the scenes where we were all moved around. Obviously, some people like Mike were celebrating, and Charles was making sure that he got pictures while folks were celebrating. We didn't necessarily have time to have that discussion, so I wanted to share. Go ahead, AD.
Moving to the Division II level for the Albany State Newberry game, Isaiah Knowles did not play. He did have a lower leg injury that prevented him from playing. Did not even practice this entire week. They did a good job keeping that under wraps. The Newberry coach said in the post-game presser that first quarter by Xavier Azari, they were not prepared for him because they had not studied him. If you think about it, after Knowles came back from his injury, he's played the last 4, 5, 6 weeks since coming back. So they really had no reason to prepare for Azari, at least at that level, which is part of the reason that Albany State was able to get up. Actually, the score was 21-0, Dr. Cavil, before Newberry got on the board. And then they answered with 31 unanswered points before Albany was finally able to muster a field goal at the end of the third quarter. Defensively, Albany State was hot. You're talking about a quarterback in Reed Sharpia who had only thrown 4 interceptions all season long. The Dirty Blue defense picked him off twice.
Nice.
So let's keep that. They sacked him a couple of times. The guy had only been sacked like 15, 16 times. If I could see how many sacks they had, let me see right quick. He was sacked 4 times. So
nice.
They for somebody who's only been sacked 15 times all season, for you to get 4, which shows that the defense did what they were supposed to do in this game. Second quarter, well, let's put it. It looked like a game of Madden. First quarter, Albany State jumped out just like you do on your friends when you're playing Madden, and then they figure out that you do which play you going to, and then the second quarter, Newberry figured it out and jumped up. Now Newberry was helped out by their defense making some plays. The key play of the game to me was there were 9 seconds remaining in the half. Albany State was in field goal range. They were out of timeouts. They were on about the 25-yard line, 24, 25-yard line. 9 seconds, 25 yards out. I'm thinking I've got time for one more play before I kick the field goal. But Coach Gray decided he wanted to kick the field goal at that point in time. And this was like second or third down. So he had another opportunity before he was forced to kick the ball. And the field goal was blocked. Not only was it blocked, but it was returned for a touchdown. It was a blocked 6. When you look at the score, 31-24, that was the deciding factor in the game in the second quarter. You just didn't realize it at that point in time. That's not saying if they'd have took that one play and still took a shot at the end zone, they would have scored. That's not saying that the kick still would not have been blocked one play later. But the fact that you did not, when you had that opportunity, you did not give yourself that one last opportunity to try to score. I thought that may have been the key pivotal point in the game. Also, defensively, last thing.
Let's be aware of the time.
All right, I'm just one last thing. Defensively, Albany State 4 defensive pass interferences in the first half. 2 of them I thought were legit. 2 of them were questionable, but they could not figure out Dewberry's receivers, and they were grabbing and holding. Made the great halftime adjustments. Dewberry wasn't able to get anything to their receivers in the second half.
Good analysis. Great breakdown. Charles, going to you in terms of the SWAC game breakdown or your superlatives in terms of that matchup. Who do you want to shout out?
Yeah, superlative has to go to Cam Peters. What he was able to do. I'm going to be seeing that quarterback. I saw that quarterback draw in my sleep. I'm not going to be seeing it. I saw that quarterback.
You finally could go to sleep.
When I finally go to sleep, I'm awakened by Cam Peters in his quarterback draw. All I can see is a damn a guard crashing down, taking out a linebacker, and off he goes. That sort of deal. But
yeah,
I mean,
that was the key one last time when he got the first down to be able to.
They got that first down.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I can't say enough about what he was able to do yesterday. That was a huge game for him. Just from that standpoint of throwing for 294 yards. And he had 24 rushing attempts. And that was one of the questions I had in the postgame. Like, what did y'all see? Because I kept talking about, we know Lamajay McDowell, we know Chase Bingman. But, in my head, the third party of that was going to be Shadrick Byrd. And it happened to be Cam Peters from a rushing perspective. But, Doc, I'm going to go fast forward it all the way to the fourth quarter when Jackson State had stolen momentum. They weren't able to, get anything on a particular drive, but they punted and pinned Prairie View deep. And this is what I talk about with regards, it's not the drive doesn't finish out the game, but essentially it finishes out the game. You're talking about a drive that took 9 minutes or so off the clock, just moving the chains. And I just thought that was just masterful.
That's the drive where they got all the way essentially to 1 or 2. And it looked like they were going to punch it into and credit to Jackson State to force the fumble. But so much time had came off the clock, and where they recovered the fumble because it wasn't in the end zone. It put them back.
Yes, but that was huge. But and one point I want to make, just by proximity, just where we are within the media space, we're next to the coaching box, And there's a point where I kind of texted Wilton. I said, they're calling a really good game, and I just said there was a calmness, that when you hear them, whenever they're calling out personnel or whenever they're calling out a play, and then there's calm and then there's chaos, So, but and the team is struggling. There's chaos, And I never got that. We were close to Prairie View's coaches yesterday, and there was calm in the things that they were doing. Maybe a couple times where it was like, where you get that scream. But
stop doing
it. Yeah. But they were prepared. They were ready, and you could, as you're doing whatever, you kind of hear them over there. Such and such is in. Okay, move that over. And they were just on top of everything Jackson State was trying to do. And it was very evident, they shut down Jackson State's rushing game. And you can always hang your hat on Jackson State running the football.
Good job. Great analysis. Go to you, Mike, before we do that. Shout out to Jamie Walker. Did get that from Brian that he called the game. So shout out HBCU Sports folks getting it done. Mike, what are your thoughts in terms of Big Ben Sticker Award? What direction you want to go?
Well, I mean, to jump off of CB's, there's no one else. I'd like to split it 3 ways if you'll allow me to.
Yeah.
Cam Peters, things I didn't know. If you'd have told me that he was going to run the ball 24 times, That's on average. I went back and looked at his previous game. That's a 30 to 40% increase on the amount of attempts he's had, running attempts. And he, hey, that reading the linebacker and telling the guard to take it, that masterful. And then on top of that, 294 yards of passing. So yes, Cam Peters. But the second one, in addition to all the stuff that CB, was a defense. We talk about a long drive that went 16 plays, 95 yards, fumbled at the 1 yard line, and that defense sent Jackson State in and out. If you'd have told me that Jackson State was going to finish the first quarter with 24 yards, that's it, I would have said, no way. I'll take those bets, those Vegas odds, plus a bottle of Belvini Finest, Caribbean casket, of course. And I would have lost that completely.
He's showing out.
He talking about liquors that don't nobody even know what shelf that's on.
Very few.
We educate more than one way. So.
There you go. Go ahead. Do your thing.
The other one was it's overlooked, but when you have a strong defensive team, and sometimes you can't punch in the end zone, you got to depend on your special team. Diego Alfaro. All right, went 3 for 3. He had a 20-something yarder, 32 yards, as long as it was 42 yarder. The kicker, when we needed him, he came in, Diego Alfaro. So yeah, I know that's a little bit different, but I'd like to give him kind of a sticker as well for being a dependable sticker, because when you play a team, sometimes it may come down to that. So, but hats off to that defense on just holding Jackson State to 230, 240 yards as a whole defensive unit. So those are my superlatives.
I also want to give it to Jacoby and Morgan for giving it the effort he did.
Yep,
absolutely.
He pulled out a great touchdown, and obviously something came up probably on that play or around that play, which didn't allow him to go.
And all things being said, and Doc, we talked about it. I mean, we were joking about it at the game, but just the heart of a champion. Jackson State was not having a great day offensively, and some type way, I know I just kept looking and was like, okay, in a second now, they're going to make a play. And they fought hard. They fought hard and whatnot. But, again, credit to the victors for holding off the charge. Yeah.
How strong? Let me ask, how strong is Jackson State on this kid Lockhart that came in? Because that guy can pass.
Oh yeah, I mean tremendous. I mean 5-0 as a starter going into that game.
Yeah.
I think the future's bright with regards to a lot of things that Jackson State has coming back. So I think that's going to be pretty huge with regards to, especially if you can retain a guy like Jared Lockhart. His brother is going to be joining him. His older brother is going to be joining him on the roster next year. But I think they have a huge chess piece to build off of with regard to Lockhart.
Yeah, I was on the sideline. There was a security guard. I think everybody knows him. I think he notices us. This guy seemed to coach the game just like one of the coaches. And then we were talking back and forth.
Go ahead and give him a shout out, Charles.
Can we give him a shout out?
Yeah, he watches man. I'm Samario, man.
Samario, yes, indeed. He was calling plays out before they happened. Yeah. We were talking. I was like, man, I don't know if PV expected Lockhart. This guy's an efficient passer. He's like, yeah, you should see, wait till his brother comes. And then he was like, oh, yeah, see how they line up? This is what's going to happen. And he was right.
Yeah, he takes care of us, too. He is really, when we talk about officers, there are community folks that not only enforce the law, but there's a lot for those that can be said that actually engage you and protect you in terms of community policing. And he is somebody that you can really put up there that does that. Yeah. AD, I know you wanted to squeeze one more in here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Lockhart 5-0 as a starter, but unfortunately for Jackson State, 0-2 out of the bullpen. But the 2 games where he had to come off of the bench, unfortunately, Jackson State did lose those 2 games. So I guess preparation is key for this freshman, making sure he gets those first team snaps.
Absolutely.
In. Helmet sticker quickly. Jovan Carr from Albany State had those 2 interceptions against Reed Sharpia. Once again, he only had 4 interceptions coming into the game, so he was able to get 2. And honorary helmet sticker has to go to Coach Tremaine Jackson. And I say honorary because helmet stickers only supposed to go to the players. Colorado Mesa took them to the playoffs a couple of years. Last year, he was in the Division II National Championship game. And now this year, he's playing for the HBCU National Championship. Yeah, that man deserves a helmet sticker and every other bonus that y'all could give him down there in Prairie View, Texas.
If he does not make it as a coach, I'll be damned if he'll make it as a motivational speaker. I was in there with you, CB, am I lying? He was going off. Yeah, people just mesmerized. Almost in tears.
Can y'all imagine this week him and Chinnis Berry?
I'm about to say.
Oh my God, Charles, you gonna have fun moderating these press conferences. That's all I'm gonna say.
Press conferences are phenomenal.
Good calls. Before we take our next break, I did want to say this about Lockhart. It's interesting that while he is 0-2 on the bullpen, in both of those matchups, one against Grambling, he was able to come back and get the lead. Defense couldn't quite hold it down. This game, he actually came back, got the lead. Defense could not hold it down again. So I do want to point that out for Lockhart, that in a lot of ways he did his out. He might not be able to close in terms of final drive, but some of that is more on the defensive side, which I think in this matchup where we told everybody that some of the keys that you want to look at is the defense of both teams. And Prairie View's defense was able to carry the day while Jackson State could not as much as they would like to. And I thought that was an inside look.
I mean, I think the stat of Prairie View being, I believe, 10 of 21 on third downs.
Yep.
That was just, I mean
the way they Cam Peters.
I'm sorry?
How many of those 10s was Cam Peters just taking over and just taking it
over? Or getting the ball to somebody.
To somebody to get it. Yeah. Very crucial. And 1 and 3 on fourth down.
Yep.
It's fascinating. But yeah, when you hold Jackson State to 244 total yards, 160 passing, 84 rushing, that is a major statement in terms of holding that offense. And then being able to put up 424 yards, 294 passing, 130 rushing is a major statement.
How about that possession of the game? 38 minutes to 21 minutes. That's nearly twice total possession of the game. And that goes back to CB's point of there's a drive. Sometimes it may not end the game, but it can end the game. Holding the ball.
9 minutes of that 38 was on one drive. Let's take our second to last break. We'll come back on the other side. It's time to unveil the top 7. There's been a lot of talk about this top 7 all year long. We'll get the next one and see what people say here. But we told everybody, let it play out. It's week to week, essentially. Let it play out. And we'll see what this second to final poll provides us this week going into this Cricket Celebration Bowl Championship. We'll be right back after this next break.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com. ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles, were you able to share the interview stuff with A.D. Drew?
Oh, let me
let's do that before the end of this segment, or coming on the last segment may be appropriate as we get into the Cricket Celebration Bowl and kind of put the final pin on the 2025 SWAC Championship game. With that being said, let's get to our rankings. Week 15, 1207. Like that 7 number there, Charles.
Yep.
And Mike.
Yeah.
Pretty good, especially after this final Founders Week. It went well. I like it. With that being said,
I see you trying to get that history in, Doc.
Yeah, you know.
I bought you in well.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You see, Mike has a good. Mike gets off the plane. Where you at? We doing the SWAC TV. I gotta take care of this. Don't worry, bro. I got you. Now I go, Charles. I said, Charles, I gotta go take this to Mike to get his ticket. He said, "Why?" He said, "Go ahead, take care of your business." So Mike has his personal delivery of his media credentials. Thank you, big bro. Thank you.
Well, no, there was payback. You gave me, hey Mike, here's your media pass. He took my cup. Get it to me, and then walked off. I was like, God, what? He just walked off. He was like, here's your pass.
Hey, I was gonna throw it away for you. At least that's an excuse I'm using.
For everybody on the line, there was coffee in that cup. And that was a real good coffee.
Brazilian coffee. All right, let's go to the next one, talking about no one dropped out of the poll. It's pretty solid in terms of where we are in there. But let's get into those receiving votes. You saw what that is. That stands with teams that had 500 or winning records. Texas Southern, Tigers, Bethune-Cookman. We usually do the top 3, but we this year only had 2 that we were able to get to that 500 or above record. But when you get into the top 7, you start to see some elite records. So let's get into that. With number 7, you have Grambling State Tigers. Finished this year on a tough loss in the Bayou Classic, but they stay in the top 7 at 7-5, 4-4 overall, 139 points in that position. At number 6, stays steady in terms of what we saw last week, as North Carolina Central Eagles are at 8-4, 3-2, 158 points, and remain in that 6th spot. Bringing us to number 5, team that had probably one of the most surprising years in terms of where people maybe started them in the rankings. When we look at our top 21, they were in that final third segment, that first third out, if you would, in terms of the bottom, but they finish in the top third. So huge turnaround for Delaware State Hornets. They do retain the coach. It looked like he may have had some interest from other folks, which makes sense, but they finished at 8-4, 4-1. Coach Jackson with a very solid year, actually played for a de facto MEAC championship at home and couldn't get it done as South Carolina State had the victories in the sport. 160 points, ranks at number 5. Bringing us to where we have a little bit of a change. Alabama State comes in at number 4. Finished the season with 10 wins, 10-2, 7-1, 27 points. Previously ranked 3, but because of the changes at the top, since they did not play, and the changes at the top, they slide from being number 3 last weekend to number 4. Bringing us to number 3. Number 3 this weekend is Jackson State, last year's champion. of the SWAC, as well as the Cricket Celebration Bowl and the HBCU National Champion for a lot of folks. They finished at 9-3, 7-1. Could not have that final step to a magical season in terms of back-to-back championships. They fall just short of that and fall one spot from 2 to 3 as they finish the season 9-3, 7-1, 208 points. See the closeness between Alabama State and Jackson State. Seems like the closeness, just like that game where they stopped Alabama State on that 1-2 yard line early in the season. At number 2, you got Prairie View. Prairie View A&M Panthers move up 2 spots and gain 5 first-place votes, 10-3. 10 wins on the season, 7-1 in conference play, as you know, winning the 2025 SWAC championship game. Moving up 2 spots, as we say, which means number 1 remains South Carolina State, the Bulldogs. They were off, obviously, 9-3, 5-0, 7 first-place votes, so they add some first-place votes, solidify that. 221 points and remain at number 1. This is their 3rd consecutive week at number 1 once they were able to jump up to that ranking. I'm sure they watched the game yesterday, so it'll be interesting as they start their preparation going into the matchup in Atlanta. Bulldogs have a proud program nationally and out of the MEAC as they dominated that 20th championship. It'll be fascinating to see what that looks like in Atlanta as they come up with, again, a red-hot Prairie View A&M Panther teams that had, at least from a coach's perspective, had every intention to get in Atlanta. They've come through the gauntlet of the SWAC and gotten it done. Let me go to you, Charles, just the cheetah, as you're getting all your text comments trying to fight it off, saying that you're being too nice. What are your thoughts on the top 7?
Hey, I want to see if the Prairie View folks raise as much hell with you with Prairie View being number 2 as the Jackson State folks did. So that was what was tickling me. Because we were walking in the stadium the other day and the ladies, hey, Dr. Cavil, your pose. I tell you, your pose.
Hey, it worked out. I told folks work out. You know, we got a little magic over this.
It's amazing how it works out in the end. So I think we got the 2 top teams in HBCU football meeting each other for the national championship. I think that's what matters. So I think the right 2 teams are up there.
With that being said, Charles, the only problem I have with my Prairie View fans, they don't get too much in terms of what I do with my polls. What they want to know is that I am truly a Panther.
Exactly.
When I have these other things on, whether it's Texas Southern or, I travel around, I support HBCUs, whatever reason, they seem to get a little nervous. They like, they think my fandom is high, but I guess they continue wanting me to prove it. So the polls for them is like, we don't worry about that. We need to make sure that you know that you are Panther first. I said, I'm good. My money goes down.
I feel bad for Doc. I feel bad for Doc. Doc will walk in place and he'll get side-eyed by Prairie View. Is this Prairie View Doc or is this TSU Doc? Because Prairie View Doc can come in there.
So that's one issue. So I got a different set of problems, Charles. Different set of problems.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right, Mike, go ahead. What's your thoughts on the top 7?
You know what? I think you have the right teams up there, except that number 7 team. I don't think Grambling should be in the top 7. I think
you got to answer the question. You know the rules. If you take them out, who you putting in?
Alcorn or TSU. Alcorn has a head-to-head against Grambling in the last 3 weeks. Alcorn is the hottest team. They went 5-1 the last 5 weeks. They're low and lost. What's the Jackson State, the number 1-2 team? So I would put Alcorn there. They arguably were getting it together the last half of the season. So if you look at the totality of their work, I think you could either justify them or even TSU. So
I could see TSU more than Alcorn with the losing record. Texas Southern obviously had lost to Alcorn, but they had a win over Grambling.
TSU had a loss to Alcorn. That's all. That's the only reason. So
Yeah, but they finished also with the winning record in terms of conference play. So
exactly.
When you talk about Texas Southern, while Alcorn did not. But intriguing conversation. He wants to drop Grambling out of the top 7.
Yes.
A.D. Drew, your thoughts?
I see Mike's argument, but I want to give you an alternative to your alternative, Mike. How about Bethune-Cookman in that number 7 slot? And the reason I'm saying this, all 3 of them, Grambling, Texas Southern, and Bethune-Cookman, did play opponents who were less than FCS.
Yes.
But Grambling played 2 of them. Should have lost that 1. Texas Southern played the perennial bridesmaids, the perennial prom date. And Savannah State was Benedict's opponent. So, given that, you can make the argument that Bethune-Cookman should actually be that number 7 team when you subtract out the
question: Who
Division II NAIA game?
Who won head-to-head? Bethune-Grambling. Who won head-to-head?
I give you that. That's why I said this is the alternative to your alternative. I'm just trying to make conversation, Mike, so that we can have a productive podcast. I didn't say
again, that's what challenges is when are you looking at holistically, and then when do you put in the head-to-head? It's
right.
But some of the voters came in and had Jackson 4 in their poll rankings, Alabama State 3, and I think they're looking holistically. And for whatever reason, letting that loss. And we're going to see this play out with the CFP. Take a big dip in that. But you had them same type of arguments.
Yeah.
You're looking at holistically, season, winning game was played, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's fascinating. But I did want to ask this question before we take our last break. Can you remember a time in the season where you had so many big matchups where the season seemed to ratchet up every week or every couple of weeks? You talk about this Prairie View team starting off in the Labor Day Classic where they win on the last play of the game after traveling down the field with big plays and getting the end zone, getting that call back and having to run it back one more time with the Jackson State, Alabama State game. Even some of the teams that were not selected to win, when you think about the Bayou Classic, and Southern and Grambling, Florida State Classic, Bethune-Cookman. Then you go into the MEAC in terms of the shot coming out the game with Delaware State getting North Carolina Central.
Yeah.
Central still having a shot having South Carolina State, and that game goes back and forth. De facto championship with the big matchup with South Carolina State, Delaware State. This entire season had rivalry matchups that played off. Championship games that was nipped and tucked, did plays. You even have the Jackson State rivalry game, Alcorn State, that comes down to big plays at the end. I can't remember a time where it seemed things just ratchet up week after week. Big plays in the State Fair Classic with Prairie View over Grambling. Obviously, a lot of stuff there. One of the few ones that got out of hand was that Alabama State, Alabama A&M game. But outside of that, boy, you had big matchups. Everything seemed to live up with rivalry games, big matchups for teams that face each other. Jackson State, Southern, big games week after week after week. Your thoughts on that, Charles?
It's amazing you talk about that. That was kind of the central theme of this season. I mean, you think about that, the last second win, Prairie View over Texas Southern, Jackson, Alabama State at the 1-yard line, Grambling with the field goal in the last minute. Hey, I've never in my life seen a fumble in victory formation to give Alcorn
a prayer.
Two prayers. They had 2 bites of the apple.
They had a prayer and a Hail Mary.
Yeah, so it was blood pressure season. It was a blood pressure football season, but it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun covering it, and this was I think one for the history books when you take a look at the games and honestly the parity within the league.
Yep.
And now is the pendulum let's see what happens. Is it shifting back to the West?
Right.
Don't know yet. So,
First indication.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask that when you put it in there. So I'm glad I don't have to ask. A.D. Drew, your thoughts in this season, and even with the CIAA SIAC, you get 7 matchups. You have the Edward Waters defeating number 1 ranked Virginia Union last second of that game. You have the SIAC getting it done against the CIAA 4-3 matchups, winning the last 2 to get it done. Key playoffs, deep runs for the SIAC, kind of pushing that pendulum back to the SIAC. Overall, in terms of the landscape, what are your thoughts in terms of the season, whether it's SWAC or CIAA, SIAC? 3 teams in the playoffs.
There needs to be a black pharmacist somewhere near each and every one of these campuses that has a delivery service for blood pressure medicine, specifically for the last minute of these ball games from this season. I've never seen so many ball games come down to not only the last minute, but half the time come down to the actual last play of the game. Texas Southern Prairie View, Jackson State, Alabama State, the Wingate Wish. What was the one when who was that who lost on the Hail Mary at the end of the game? One of those MEAC teams back during the preseason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so many games.
Howard and Georgetown.
Yeah. So many games came down to literally goose eggs on the clock. Henceforth, the reason we need a blood pressure medicine delivery service at all HBCU games, because there was some sick people. If you were to get on that machine at that point in time, they would probably send you to the hospital because they think you're about to stroke out.
Yep, good call. Mike, final thoughts in terms of what for you and Prairie View fans has been a very memorable season, as well as South Carolina State fans as well.
Oh my gosh, I can't go back to that first game against Texas Southern, that last play. I think somebody here said it, but I'd like to take a different spin. First, AD, I'd like to answer your question. There is a drug. It's called enhanced ethanol. You know it as Crown Royal. I know it as Bellini. I know it's enhanced ethanol. They created it a long time ago, and they have these special capsules that you can have, and if your game just set, you take a swig of that medicine.
I guess for you need the purple bag for Prairie View, for the Prairie View version.
So to me, the discussion, and I have no Division II, but this season, the chase between Albany State, Benedict, we talked about Johnson C. Smith in there. That race, that competitiveness that you've seen in there, to me, has been phenomenal. And then we talked about the SWAC games. There's also a business component to this. If you look at the business side of this with SWAC TV, year one, less than just slightly below 1 million viewers, that driven off of programming, that get driven off of competition. And I think, to me, that is the other side. People ask, how is SWAC TV doing? To me, that's the other part of this success, is the ability to now see SWAC TV when you're on the road. How many times have you said in the chat, hey, is it on SWAC TV? Yes, I look for that to grow. So in addition to the competition, that business side, and it's only growing. If you look at year for year, last 5 years, where Dr. McClellan has taken this SWAC TV been a big part of that. It's grown at least 2, 3, 4-fold. I don't have the exact numbers, but that business component, that valuation of the SWAC in general, this year, to me, took a big step.
Add SIAC TV to that also. The fact SIAC is doing the same thing that the SWAC is doing on a smaller scale.
Yeah. Great points. That you can catch it, download your SWAC TV, over 100 basketball games, download your SIAC as they continue to push forward in terms of this new way that you can follow your team. Enhanced ethanol. Someone check that mimosa. Yeah, that's Mike for you. And I'll say this to close out this segment before we do that. And you talking about 3 teams 7-1. although the West was finished 2 weeks before the end of the season, you really go back to the Labor Day Classic because if you do not get that victory, actually Texas Southern is playing in the championship game. So even though season seemed close, it's one play, as we talked about earlier, as coaches push you to get it done. And you literally go into the East that is settled late into the season against the rival, against Alcorn. One play here and there in terms of getting it done. Crazy season. Kudos to all involved, CIAA, SIEC, the MEAC, and the SWAC. And we got one more in terms of excitement that should close out this 2025 football season. Just got to get some work from the independents. They got to show up. With that being said, we'll take our last break, come back on the other side, and give you a little insight, early insight, into that Cricket Celebration Bowl matchup between the number 1 ranked South Carolina State Bulldogs at 9-3, 5-0, and the number 2 ranked Panthers, Prairie and Panthers, 10-3, 7-1. MEAC versus the SWAC. We'll be right back after this break. Last break.
Greetings, Panthers. My name is Roland Austin, and I'm one of the directors at the 1876 Athletic Foundation. The 1876 Athletic Foundation was formed to promote the success of all 343 student athletes. Our overall goal is to fund scholarships for all of our student athletes. We ask that you help us in achieving this goal by donating to the 1876 Athletic Foundation via the QR code below or 1876.foundation. Your generous donation will help us continue to assist the needs of all of our Panther athletes. Thanks, and go Panthers.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
What you say, John? You said that the tickets are available in Atlanta, and you said there are plenty of hotels there, and the flights are still at a reasonable rate. All right. Oh, my bad, man. I'm back on the air. I need to get back to the show, bro.
Good job. Good job.
Good, AD. That's good.
That was good. That was good.
We should have filmed that right piece and just distributed it.
Dr. is inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We're enjoying ourselves here for our last segment. Continue to bring you HBCU sports. We're coming up to our second to last Sunday show. Over 750 episodes that we've been able to give you over the years. The 750 came on in our expanded package with the independents. So although I give them a little hard time, shout out to those that are representing the independent programs and decided to join us for Inside the HBCU Sports Lab version of that. We sought to do it at the Division II level, mid-major, what we call it. But those folks that are dedicated that are also having bread is buttered, so they got to put the time in for where they are getting paid. So we'll see as we push through that. And then obviously we have some folks doing some good jobs of that, so we want to shout them out in terms of what they do to make sure we get the coverage from the SIEC and CIAA side of that. With that being said, the big game. We got the big game coming up. And it's for a model, all the marbles. It sets it up clearly, 1 versus 2. Champion of the MEAC, number 1 ranked South Carolina State Bulldogs at 9-3, undefeated in their conference race, 5-0, versus number 2 Prairie and Panthers, winning the SWAC, finishing at 10-3, 7-1 in their conference race. MEAC, SWAC, Saturday. Game will be on ABC, 12 o'clock noon in Atlanta. A week full of activities coming up to that, where everybody in terms of the HBCU sports culture ascends on what many people call in that area the Mecca of Atlanta. Charles, I'm going to start with you to give us your thoughts. I know you'll be there early covering things and behind the scenes with a lot of work. What gets you excited about this particular game, specifically about this matchup?
Two master motivator coaches, proud members of Omega Psi Phi, who can inspire. I think, some early chess pieces, looking at this game, the quarterback play of both teams. I think when you start kind of taking a quick snapshot of that in terms of who potentially could have success going against the other secondary. So I think those are the things that initially jump out for me with regards to this matchup. But just both Tremaine Jackson and Chettis Berry, they are masterclass motivators. And that's just one of those little side things that I'm really paying attention to, really looking forward to with regards to listening to both of these guys in terms of their process of getting their teams ready for this Celebration Bowl. South Carolina State, second bite of the apple. Can they get it done? But kudos to them in getting back to the Celebration Bowl. And, we'll see how Prairie View handles this new experience. They've chanted, get to Atlanta since the jump. And now they're here. Let's see who meets the moment.
Good stuff. Good stuff. A.D. Drew, your thoughts in terms of this Cricket Celebration Bowl matchup, 10th edition, celebration year. Should be fascinating to see in many ways. But what are your thoughts from the outset of what you expect in this matchup?
While many of the people in the chat were looking forward to the rubber match between Jackson State and South Carolina State in the Cricket Celebration Bowl, which would have been the third matchup in the last 5 years between those teams. Wow. There was a group of guys on the Hill who said you would have to wait at least one more year for that matchup to occur, that being those men in purple and gold, the Prairie View A&M Panthers. First of all, what about the history of a man of Omega Psi Phi leading a team whose school colors are very similar to the championship game? So, Q's, I need y'all in the house. I expect to see a bunch of Q's in the house for this particular game. As you see,
a lot of barking.
Oh yeah, my God. George Clinton needs to be in the house, with the theme song for the brothers of Omega Psi Phi. But I'm just looking for, this is a fresh matchup. You've got a team that's been there before. You've got a coach who's been at this level before. What has Tremaine Jackson learned from that loss at Valdosta State on the Division II level in that national championship game that will better prepare him for this HBCU Black College national championship?
He answered that in the presser. That's a good question.
Yes, he was in the press conference and said that as well.
Speaking of the presser, Charles, good segue.
What it does with this team and what he's done with the program since he's been the head coach is second to none. We really take our hat off to him in the program. But our players decided that they wanted to be champions. And when your players make a decision, then you just make sure that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. And we made that decision a long time ago. And so I'm really proud of our players, our staff, our administration, our AD. I mean, everybody knows how I feel about our AD and the opportunity that he gave me. But I'm really glad tonight for Prairie View A&M Nation. There's a lot of people that traveled here. Hopefully we get them to travel to Prairie View now, AD. But we're excited. We know the job's not done yet. As long as we got this young brother right here, I think we're going to be all right.
Your mic, Mike.
Okay.
Yep, final statement. Go ahead, Mike.
Atlanta is the place for the purple and gold. So anyway, I want to please no cues stepping in the end zone. Please stop it. This is the Celebration Bowl. We can't have y'all stepping in the end zone. I know I'm with AD. We need y'all there, but please stay off the field. No steps. As a matter of fact, no stepping in the stands, please.
Can they go through the concourse?
Yes, go somewhere, concourse or somewhere. and we and the bros were talking, man. You know, we have to wear this purple and gold. It's the school colors. They need some black Prairie View stuff, some black and gold Prairie View stuff, so I can wear that. Cause I'm getting tired of all this purple and gold in my closet, but that's okay.
I agree with you. And that DOG is a good thing, but you know,
I like that DOG.
We can change the acronym. You know, we always gonna try to find a way to take over.
Right.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah. It was a very, very confident Newt that will let you know that he is the reason that coach came and the AD. It is a very strong alpha that works as the business manager. So he is surrounded by some good folks, some other men of other, fraternal organizations. What do I expect? You definitely expect the defense, hard hitting, physicality. But I want to see how Atkins and that offense does against the Prairie View defense. And the like side, I want to see how Peters and that offense do against the South Carolina defense. That'll be interesting. You hit it. Two men who know how to motivate their teams. You have one team that's coming in that has not, quote unquote, been there. So I expect the motivation to be there. We're going to see a class seminar on how to motivate your team by the time it's said and done. I hope they put it in a book. And then they call it Atlanta, whatever. So other than that, I expect a good game. I really just want a huge turnout. That's what I mostly want. So, but enough of it. Who said blue and white than Mike? Come on, man. Blue and white. I can't say how I want to respond.
He's gonna give you a hard time for the Sigmas. You know, you talk to everybody else. He say he wants some of that too.
Yeah.
So final thing I'll talk about is that in a lot of ways this is going back historically in terms of where Prairie View was in the history very early on. When you talk about the 50s and 60s, rechanneling a lot of the history that people forgot about because of the years of lows, including the 80 game. But this is a different Prairie View. In fact, it's going back to its history. Even South Carolina State, that most recently really didn't climb that hurdle until the 70s. So all the history there is fascinating to see what that looks like. With that being said, we'll come to a close here. Fascinating when you get folks like A&T Roy in regards to his heart, where he believes in. But shout out to all these brothers of the D9. Thank you, and sisters, I should say, of the D9. Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming from inside the lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, and A.D. Drew. Again, we thank you for listening to Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Watson, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Last show next Sunday at 9 a.m. We look forward to the latest news next week. We should be ascending in Atlanta. I believe we get there. I get there Wednesday if I don't have to make any changes there, and we'll see what that looks like with the rest of the team. Getting ready to give you your live, up-to-date coverage on so many different ways of the 2025 Cricket Celebration Bowl 10th anniversary, appropriately, with South Carolina State making it back for their third iteration of this game, and then Prairie View gets their inaugural edition of the game. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, is DrKenyatta Cavil. That's Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Dream big, continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Of course.
Mike.
Lecture.
AD.
Atlanta. Atlanta. We see y'all there next week, y'all.
Yeah, you could have did that without kissing your lips, though, man. That just I didn't want to see that.
I ain't messing with you, Mike.